Hi, my name is Liesel and welcome to this three-part series called Soft, A Journey Home. So I've created these three classes as a nuanced way of helping yourself to manage your energy, maybe at the end of the day, especially if it's been a long and a challenging one. There are many ways that we can feel overwhelmed, tired, and all of them need something slightly different. So depending on where you start, that kind of determines the path that you're going to take. So these three sessions are a little bit more specific, a little bit more nuanced. The first one is called Shed. So Shed is really good for if you're kind of feeling still anxious and there's a lot of energy in your system and you just can't seem to find yourself coming to rest. So Shed is there to help you shift this energy and shake it off. The second session is called Mend. So Mend is really good for when you're feeling scattered. If you feel like you are still in 5 to 5 million places at the end of the day and you'd really just like to feel complete and together, Mend is a really good session to bring the energy slowly back. And then the last one is called Nest. And Nest is when you simply need stillness, when you simply need time to be without thinking or moving or doing anything in particular. So use these sessions as you need them. And then lastly, for these sessions you will need a few props, but I've made it super easy so that even if you don't have like yoga props at home, you can use something else. So I'll just quickly show you. I've got a nice big bolster, but any like pillow will do, or maybe like 2 or 3 pillows. It's good to have maybe 2 around. I've got some yoga blocks, but if you don't have blocks, a nice thick dictionary will also do, or maybe a couple of books perhaps wrapped in something. And then a nice alternative to also have around is face towels. So these are smaller towels, as you can see, just folded in a quarter and then rolled up, which are really nice for the restorative sessions. I've got a yoga strap. You can use any belt or scarf. And then I have here what are called eye pillows. So they are filled with rice and they've got a little bit of weight. And that weighty aspect, especially across the eyes or the hands sometimes, can really help to calm the nervous system down. But if you don't have these at home, the next best thing you can use is maybe a bag of rice. This is a bag of split peas. So whatever you have around, and a good weight is from 1/2 kilo to maybe 2 kilograms max. And then something to really invest in is a tennis ball. A tennis ball is a great addition to a yoga practice for doing some fascia release. So these are the things that we'll be using in the series. It is not exclusively a yin practice. It's a bit of a blend of hatha and yin and restorative, and then putting it all together so that you can really find yourself, come back to yourself and be at home. All right, okay, let's get started. And I'll see you now. To this session, which is called Mend. So we're going to need a few props today, and it's a good idea to gather these before you get started. So we're going to need 2 rolled up towels. So these are just small face towels that you fold and you roll until you have something about this size. We're going to need 2 little weights, optional if not necessary, but they can be really nice, especially for the final support Shavasana. So something weighty that you can put across the palm of your hand, so there's that nice release there. And then we're also going to need 1 block, 1 bolster or big pillow, also for our Shavasana. Most of the props are at the end. And then we're also going to need a nice long strap. So this is a really long strap. If you don't have one, I would recommend that then you just take 2 scarves, or if you have a strap, just have a scarf handy so that you can make things a little bit longer and extended. And we'll do a really nice reclining release with that. So get everything that you need together. And get started on our backs. Good. So, beginning this session, we'll find ourselves lying on our backs, knees bent, feet on the ground. This pose is sometimes also known as constructive rest, and it offers a nice support for the lower back. It offers a little bit of softness in the pelvic bowl. And we'll get started here as a way of coming into the body. This session is called Mend, with the idea that it helps us to bring all of ourselves back into the center. So if you're feeling very scattered at the end of the day, the session will help to really just ground you back into your body, into the present moment. We'll start by interlacing our fingers and then reaching the hands up towards the ceiling. So you can start with your arms a little bit bent, arms a little bit soft, and then focus on first just spreading through the palms of your hands. So notice that all the fingers are active, which means thumbs and pinky fingers are opening wide as well. And then keeping your shoulders heavy and down on the mat. As you exhale, begin to straighten your elbows, pushing the palms of your hands up towards the ceiling. So as you lift through the hands, there's a tendency for the shoulders to want to go with, to lift off the ground. But see if you can keep your shoulder blades firmly on the mat, elbows straight without straining. And then just keeping this lovely stretch and opening through the palms of our hands. You can close your eyes and focus on breathing fully into the body. So the belly and the chest, gently opening with the breath. And then see if you can just notice the sensations of the stretch in the hands, maybe moving down the arms, moving down the forearms on the inside, on the sides. Noticing how it feels in your wrists, and then just keeping the shoulder blades heavy and resting on the ground. We'll take 2-3 more breaths, and you might find that the stretch is intensifying quite a bit over the hands. See if you can just stay with it. Maybe spread the fingers wider. One last deep breath. Straighten the arms a tiny little bit more. One deep breath. And then as you exhale, release, soften the hands, place them down by your sides, palms facing open. And then take notice of the sensations moving through the hands, using these sensations as a way of bringing the mind back to the physical body. The mind has the capacity to go anywhere, literally anywhere, in the past, the future, spaces imagined. And the body can't always go with, so this practice is an invitation for the mind to come back to the body, to be present, to take rest. And then on the next breath, we'll get ready to find some subtle movements through the hips as a way of also connecting a little bit more firmly into the present moment. So resting the hands onto the belly now. Allow all 10 of your toes to lift for a moment, and then very gently press each one down to the ground. So pinky toes, fourth toe, third toe, second toe, big toe. And then ball of the foot, outer edge of the foot, and then into the heel. So having the whole of the foot firmly grounded. As you exhale, gently press down through the heels. Draw your navel into the body like you're pushing your lower back into the ground.
And that should give you a feeling that the whole back line of the legs is gently active. And then on the inhalation, soften. Let the belly go loose. Let the lower back lift. Tiny little bit. And then again, as you exhale, rolling lower back into the ground. Here, with your eyes closed, just move with your breath. We're going to do 10 breaths. So 10 gentle pelvic tilts. Not lifting the hips off the ground, but more just rolling across the back of the hips, feeling how that releases tension in the lower back, how that gently grounds us into our feet. And more than anything else, just kind of bringing us back to a sense of sensation in the lower pelvic area. So especially if we tend to sit a lot, the brain just switches this area off. There's a lot of pressure in there, a lot of kind of tamasic energy, which is the yoga word for something that is like heavy and slow. So just using these gentle breaths and movements to lighten the feeling across the pelvis, to make it feel a little bit more bright. Good. We'll do 2 more pelvic rolls like this. And then from here, as you exhale, gently begin to float your knees up towards your chest. Reach your hands forward. And then as you exhale, wrap your hands around the shins and drop your head back down onto the ground. Slow deep breath as you allow your shoulders to be heavy, the back of your heart, the back of your neck, and then also the back of your head itself. As you breathe in, feel your belly rise to your thighs. Feel your back body expand and press down into the ground. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. If you like, you're welcome to squeeze the legs in closer towards the chest. But if it feels like today you would just like to keep the practice soft, you can also just stay as you are, very gently holding on. Good. 1 more deep, full breath here. And then keeping the legs in the air, release your hands, grab your belt at this point. And at this point, the belt should be in a nice long loop. And then slowly take the loop around the soles of your feet. So it's very handy if you have a strap that's adjustable, but if not, feel free to pause the video and get yourself set up. So once the feet are in the loop, you want the rest of, or the other part of the strap kind of around the lower back area. You're also welcome to adjust it. Maybe it goes a little bit more along the lower ribs, but essentially we want to get to a place where we can have the legs straight, feet facing the ceiling, the strap going around the feet, connecting around the back of the body, and then being able to create enough tension in that loop so that essentially you can soften the muscles in the legs, and it's the strap that's holding them there. So that might mean knees bent for some of you, especially if the hamstrings are tight. But if you can, try straightening the legs. You'll feel that the weight of them almost kind of gently lifts. So if that doesn't feel good in the lower back, bring the strap up higher. Place the hands down by your sides and then close your eyes. So we'll take about 10 deep breaths here with the strap supporting the legs, having that feeling of being in an inversion. So all the lymphatic fluid is draining from the feet down into the center of the body. The strap gives a feeling of supportiveness, so the nervous system can gently release. And while all of this is happening, there's a nice, gentle, spacious stretch across the backs of the legs, the lower back. The belly can stay soft, making sure that the breath moves through the whole front of the body. And if you feel yourself releasing and the tension kind of comes out of the pose, feel free to tighten your strap up a little bit more. The body responds to stretching by opening up, so the fascia releases, and that means the sensation changes as we stay in the pose. And to stay with your edge, sometimes you need to keep adjusting these micro adjustments to stay on that cusp of awareness. We'll take 2 more deep breaths. And then from here, when you're ready, bring your hands to the strap, bend your knees, release your feet. You can take the strap off completely, removing it from behind you, placing it somewhere towards the top of your mat. And for a moment, just bend the knees once more, resting them in towards the chest, opening the arms up into a cactus shape. And then on the exhalation, dropping both your knees over towards the left, keeping your knees stacked as much as you can. You're welcome to place a pillow if you feel that you can't quite close the space in between them. You can also maybe use your hand. Sometimes that's all we need, is that little bit of height to get comfortable. So as you come into the twist, feel an opening move through the right side of your chest, and feel how that connects through the inside of the upper arm, the elbow, the forearm to the palm of your hand. In this pose, we'll actively open the hand. And try to keep the back of the hand flat and just open all of the fingers. So the pinky, the thumb, the back of the wrist. Very gentle but active opening of the right hand. Maybe gazing towards the right elbow to release the neck. And we'll take a few more breaths here. Good. One more deep, full breath. And then as you inhale, gently release the legs back into the center, getting ready to switch directly to the opposite side. So now legs drop over towards the right hand side of your mat. Once again, right hand can come to rest in between the thighs for a little bit of support. And then we'll turn the head towards the left, actively opening the left hand. Breathe from the left hand side of your chest through the inner arm and all the way up to the palm of the hand. In this process of mending ourselves or mending our energy so that we feel more whole. It helps to do it part by part, so we're slowly focusing on certain parts of the body, the hands, the feet, the extremities, the things that are furthest away, and slowly bringing them into our awareness as a way of working our way into the center. So we'll take 2-3 more breaths here, spreading wide through the left hand, being aware of each one of your fingertips, being aware of the back of your hand, your forearm, back into your chest. And then on the inhalation, bringing the legs back into center. Place the feet on the floor for a moment. And just feeling the release that comes into the lower back area when we release the twist and we ground it into the mat. And then from here, getting ready to shift around a little bit so that we can set up for the next stretch, which is to release the neck. So to release the neck, we'll have some props to aid us. And the easiest way to do this is to start with a rolled up towel and placing that towards the top of your mat. From here, you're going to need a book or a block. If you have a book, it's useful to put the binding, the back cover at the top, just so that it feels a little bit fuller, but you can also wrap it in another towel if you need. So you can see the block is kind of at a 45-degree angle, not all the way straight up, not all the way flat, a little bit of a slant, and then the block pushes into the towel for support. So coming back all the way down, bring your head onto the block, and then you want to find that crease where the neck connects to the head, and kind of hook the back of your skull or the bottom of your skull over the edge of the block, and then gently pull your shoulders down so that you lengthen the neck out a little bit. We're not going to stay super long. The idea here is to very gently roll your head from side to side. So as you roll your head from left to right, you'll feel the edge of the block pressing into those thick ligaments, tendons, muscles, all that connective stuff that helps to support the head on top of the neck. So especially if you've been working a lot at a desk and you've been kind of slumped over, head forward, or if you spent a lot of time on your phone or your tablet, this stretch can really help to release tension in those areas. Make sure to keep the head moving. Make sure to keep the movement slow. And just keep rolling yourself a little bit more. Maybe seeing how far you can roll out, knowing that the fascia is a web that connects all the way to the back of your ear. So it's not just the spaces in the center of the neck, but you really want to roll it out nice and wide. Good. We'll take a few more breaths here. And try to keep it very gentle in a way as well. If something feels too intense, if it feels like too much, back off. This area can get very agitated or irritated if you go in with strong force. So nice and easy. Good. Coming into center, lift your head up, release the block, place it to your side, and for a moment just bring the towel into the back of your neck and then put your head down onto the floor. So the towel is now very gently lifting the front of the throat higher and kind of supporting the curve in the back of the neck. It doesn't have to be a strong stretch. But see if you can very gently drop your chin towards your throat. And then as you exhale, very gently just press the back of your head into the ground for a moment. Slow deep breath as you feel the back of your neck meet the towel, finding a little bit of resistance there. Taking one more deep full breath. Getting ready to come out of this pose, we'll shift over onto our left hand side first. We'll still be using the towel, but this time we're going to shift it so that it comes into the side of the body. So knees are bent and stacked. Towel roll comes under the armpit, so not in the armpit, a little bit lower. And then you'll feel a little bit of weight pressing your ribs in, and there's a sense of kind of like lifting the whole rib cage up to the side. Start with your head in your hand, and then when you're ready, extend the arm out straight, resting ear to shoulder, and then this opposite arm reaches up overhead, and then as you exhale, wrap the arm around your back. You can tuck the fingers in under the side of the hip or the waist. And sometimes this is enough of a stretch, so feeling the space between your right ear and your right shoulder. Or if you like, you can also shift your head forward, bringing the ear or the side of the head to the ground, which creates a much deeper stretch through the neck, a little bit more of an opening across the collarbones and the upper ribs. And you've also got the gentle pressure under the left side of the rib cage. And then once you're here, once again, just focus on the breath, just breathe. Feel all the sensations in the body. Feeling the sensations that have shifted from the hands to the shoulders, to the ribs and the spine. And really allow your head to be completely heavy. Top shoulder gently rolling back. And we'll take a few more deep breaths here. And then on the next inhalation, slowly release the back hand, bring it overhead, and just place the palms of the hands together for a moment. If you can't put the palms of the hands together, just rest your elbow onto your head. And with the spine really stretched out and the arms reaching away, take a few deep breaths into the rib cage. Breathe all the way down into your belly, noticing all the gentle sensations it creates in and around the spine and the organs. And then from here, release. Bringing right hand to the floor, lifting the head. Slowly push yourself up. And then we'll switch sides. You're also welcome to roll over. But for me, I'm just going to roll to the other side so I can keep looking at you. So once again, taking your towel roll, and if it's gone a bit flat, just plump it up. And then placing it down, stacking your knees, coming onto your hip. Placing the roll underneath the armpit, starting with the head on the hand. Nice deep breath here. And then as you exhale, you can extend the arm straight, drop the ear to the upper arm. Inhale, reaching your left hand towards the top. And then exhale, bringing it around your back and tucking your fingers under your waist or your hip. For a moment, actively just roll your shoulder back. Take a nice deep breath. And then if you like, you can drop your ear or your head down in front of the bottom arm. And then here, let the head grow heavy. So the heavier the head becomes, the more you'll feel that space open across your collarbones, the side of your neck. Sometimes you can feel it deep into the front and the back of the shoulder. And making sure that as you go, you soften your jaw. Find your breath and just connect into the sensations you're experiencing in the moment. So wherever your head has been today, just gently invitation to be curious and to notice what's happening right here, right now. If you find yourself holding on to or focusing on any particular emotion or thought and feeling like you need to unravel it with effort, see if you can just put it down for a moment and once again feel what's happening in the body. On the next inhalation, release your hand from underneath your waist or your hip, reaching it up for a moment. And then as you exhale, either bringing it overhead, palms touching, or maybe resting elbow onto the side of the head if you can't reach in this way. And then once again, feeling the length in your spine and your torso and taking deep breaths here, noticing if you can find those subtle little sensations moving through the internal space around the spine. One more deep breath. And when you're ready, release your left hand. Bring it to the ground, slowly push yourself up. And from here, we'll get ready for our supported Shavasana. So we need a few things to get ready for this pose. First things first is a nice flat towel roll at the back of your neck. If the roll feels like it's too thick, spread some of it out so the head rests here and the rest is behind the neck. It really depends on the towel you have, so you'll have to play around with it for a moment. Then we'll take some weights. So this is your rice, your peas, your beans, whatever you have.
And then a bolster for the backs of the knees. So we'll take a little bit of a moment to assemble ourselves here. And we want to make sure that the backs of the legs are supported to ease any tension out of the lower back, but also out of the front of the pelvis. So back comes to the floor, back of the legs are supported. From here, we're supporting the next part we're supporting is the neck. So bring your little towel roll in at the back of the neck. And it doesn't have to feel like a strong stretch. You just want to almost like feel like there's something there, because often the back of our neck doesn't touch the floor, and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to have a little bit of space. So we're just making that a little bit more supported today. Then something across the eyes, something with a little bit of weight, and kind of really smooshing that down so that it's all across your eyebrows, the eye sockets, and just gently pressing it in so it really molds to the space of the eyes. Then the tricky part is when you're blindfolded state is to find the additional bags of weights if you have them, and then getting them nicely spread out across your hands, and then just placing your hands down by your sides. So from here you can reach your hands down a little bit more, reaching them out so that the shoulders gently open. So you're gently kind of pulling the arms out of the shoulder joint so the joint is a bit more spacious. And then allowing your hands to receive the weight of the rice or the beans that you have over them, feeling the weight over your eyes, the support at the back of your neck, and then the support at the back of your knees. Let the fingers completely soften. Let the jaw drop. Let your head get heavy. And then as you begin to settle into this pose, slow breathing. Notice where your mind is wandering. You don't need to do anything about it in this moment, but just notice the worries, the thoughts, the plans, the lists. That part of you that's just waiting for things to finish so that you can do the rest or get it done. Maybe the part of you that is thinking about something that happened recently, something with which you don't yet have peace. And then taking a nice deep breath in, repeat the following words to yourself. So just internally in your mind, repeating to yourself, I call all of myself back to myself. And then allowing yourself to visualize all of your energy, wherever it has been engaged, simply releasing and returning back to the center of your body. I call all of myself back to myself. And repeating these words a few more times, feeling your body kind of drawing in, feeling yourself grow a little bit more solid. Feeling the whole of your body in this space, in this moment. And then allowing yourself to kind of gaze inward, noticing if you can sense that your energy feels whole, or maybe there are still some cracks, maybe there are still some gaps or some spaces. And anywhere you notice that, just imagine a nice
beautiful golden light coming from the center of your heart, reaching out to these spaces where your energy is not yet whole. And letting that light just seal it all in. So kind of like the Japanese art of fixing broken pottery with gold. Visualize your energy becoming whole by letting this golden light from the center of your heart just fill in all the gaps. Allow yourself to sink into slow, deep breathing. Resting into your breath. See if you can feel the weight across your eyes, the weight in your hands. Feel the support behind your legs, behind your neck. Feel all of yourself present and calm and here in this moment. And then taking as much time as you need to stay in this version of Shavasana.
Perhaps giving yourself a few more minutes if it feels right. And taking your time before you get up and move at the end of your practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.